Hello, it's Loretta West with Color Garden Studio, all around art gal. And today I'm going to demonstrate a little exercise you can do on watercolor paper that I have here, or mixed media paper, or in your sketchbook. It's very quick and relaxing. So if you're feeling that you need to, get in touch with your creative self and relax a little bit, then please join me for this fun lesson. Okay, now you're going to need either watercolors, or I'm using not watercolor, acrylic ink by Rowney. This one is processed cyan. And the one I have is processed yellow. And lastly, crimson. So the three primaries, yellow, blue, and red, is all you need today. You can, if you want, you can get some water and have a brush handy if you think that would be a good idea to utilize, but you don't need to do that today. You're also going to need either a straw to blow through, or one of these, which is the duster for electronics, which is going to help spread the ink. You could use watercolor for this as well. Here's a little tip. If you are working with acrylic ink, you can utilize these candle holders that are glass to put your inks in, and they'll clean up just great because they're made of glass, which does not stick to the polymer of the acrylic ink or paint, so they'll come right off. You're also going to need some tape. I have two types of tape here, two thicknesses of tape. You can use all the same thickness if you want. Just try to find a low tack tape. So this is painter's tape, used for painting walls, etc. And I also have a low tack drafting tape, which is just a masking tape that has a lower adhesive on it, or a lighter adhesive. And I think I'm going to do some stuff after, in case I do, because I always like to add things. I've got a couple of toys. So I've got my 0.5 artist Pitt Pen. So it's quite fine, but it's not super fine. I also have my favorite thing these days, a Krylon 18 karat gold leafing pen. I love it. They come in gold, copper, and I don't have it here, but I think they also come in silver. So this is the copper as well. So we'll have those out. And I've got a Posca pen, just in case I want to add some dots of things. I'm just sort of not thinking a lot on this exercise, which is just what we need right now. We need to stop thinking about what the state of the world is. I think we just need to take a beat, take a breath, give to yourself, do some excellent self-care in creating. So follow with me. So I'm going to create these little windows using tape. So I'm going to start here with this thicker tape. I'm going to seal it right, press it down so it seals. This will put aside here, be in the way. Okay, and we'll do another one over here. I'm not thinking, you can measure if you want to get out a ruler and make sure that they're straight. You're welcome to do that, but I'm not a ruler kind of gal. Okay. Just sort of eyeballing it. See what looks straight to me. I'm pressing it down. Then we're going to take the thinner tape, which is really quite low tack, this drafting tape. I'll come in and do some more. I'm gonna have to press it quite hard because it is low tack, as I said. You could also use washi tape for this. Just make sure you press it down really well, because again, it's a very low tack tape. And then we're going to go the other way. Some jazzy kind of plaid here with tape. And you don't have to make them straight. I mean, you can make them horizontal, it's not horizontal, at an angle. They don't have to be straight. I'm just doing it this way right now, but you could certainly put your tapes at an angle and make some interesting negative shapes in between. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is do one in here. I'm not trying to make them all the same. As you notice, I've got different widths of negative space. When you're doing, think about, how are you breathing, and take some deep breaths and just sort of decompress from the day-to-day onslaught of the news. Okay, so I'm going to turn it. You can keep it this way, doesn't matter, but for starters, I'm going to turn it this way. I also have, pardon me, should have said that, a spray bottle with water in it that you'll need. If you don't have that, you can take your watercolor brush or any kind of brush, get it really wet, and just what's the word I'm looking for? Shake it on there. That will also get water on there. So if you're using watercolor, you'll want to use your palette and make your paints really juicy, the colors you want to use. Really juicy, so they're nice and liquid for this exercise. And then you'll want to take a brush. What do I have here? I don't know. Bow Squirrel number 10 is what I've got. Get it nice and wet as well, so you can spread watercolor or the ink around. So I've got that on the side. I'm going to take my spray bottle and get this nice and juicy and wet. Okay, I'm going to start with my yellow because that's my lightest color. Give it a shake. Dab it on there. Quite a bit. Oh, that's a lot. That's okay. We can work with a lot. Okay. Then I'm going to take my duster and spread it, directing the air at the paint. There's a lot of yellow in here. Oh boy. It's okay, it's gonna be nice and bright. Get a little more. I can see my tape's lifting up a little bit. Okay, that's all right. We're going with it. Just an exercise. It's all play. Okay, so what I can do is I could take my hair dryer and dry the yellow, so it's nice and dry, and then apply the next layer of paint, and the paints won't mix. So that, but they'll show through because they're transparent. But I'm not going to do that today, but you certainly could do that. I'm going to start with my next color, which is this crimson red. Give it a shake. Go over places with the yellow. You like that? I'm not thinking. Just letting intuition lead the way. And I'm going to this time turn my paper so things go in another direction. Oh, yeah, there'll be splatter. So be careful what's behind here. Make sure you don't want to, if it's something you don't want to get splattered, make sure you cover it with a piece of plastic. I have splatter all over my wall, so I don't care. And window. Okay. This seems to be a really dry zone down here. So we're gonna get some juice in there. Juice it up. So I'm turning the paper as I do this with the direct the paint. This is so much fun. And like I said, you can do it with a straw and just blow on it. It's a great thing to do with kids. It's really easy and accessible and beautiful. So already we got some juicy color happening. Oh boy, we like that. So got some oranges going on now and beautiful bright yellows and more of the red. So then my last is going to be the processed cyan. So we're gonna add a little blue there, a little blue here, just, you know, wherever I think could be a good spot. Not think, in other words. Okay, I think I'm gonna turn it this way because I've got a lot of big blue spots down there. Oh. Okay, there's some nice splatter happening. My little pen is running out of air. No problem. Okay, problem there was that my can was tilted the wrong angle. It didn't like that. So what I can do, so I've got quite a bit of paint here blobbed on. So I've got my trusty paper towel, and I can go in here. I can create some really cool textures on top of the blue and other colors. Can you also use a piece of Kleenex? But the Kleenex will be not as textural as the paper towel. My paper towel's got texture in it. Let's see what we got going. Okay, so I've got a lot of blue in this area. What do I want to do? Maybe get a little bit of water on there. Gotta be quite wet. Maybe come in with here with some of this red. Make a nice violet. As it spreads up. Use my little brush in here. Spread it together. Work well together. Got some darkness here, but there's a beautiful violet. You probably can't see it. Probably just looks black on the screen, but it's a beautiful dark violet that's making. Two colors together, so I'm going to carry on with my can of air. Now, next job is to dry it. Now you can let it air dry. It'll take about an hour, or half an hour to an hour. But I'm going to get out my blow dryer and give it a good going over. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, let's take off the tape and see what we have. We've got some bleeding, that's okay. We're gonna get some beautiful colors out of this. You shall see. I like the bleeding edges actually. Gives it a little contrast, a little variation. It's all sticky in my fingers. Okay. And then I'm going to start with the horizontals. There's one down here that didn't even get much paint on it. Okay. Interesting. Got these little windows we're making. It's beautiful, beautiful windows. It's interesting where the blue really ran right there. But it did make this interesting dark violet. So we have some interesting spaces. And let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we got here. See, look at that. I'll turn it around so you can see. Look at that. Beautiful. Like this over here. Luscious color. Luscious. For a winter's day. I'm making sure it's nice and dry. I'm going to feel with the back of my hand. If I feel with the fingers, it leaves little grease marks on the piece. I don't want that. So feel with the back of your hand. Any parts that are wet, like that one right there, I give it a little dab with my trusty paper towel. And there we go. I like that there's some cool marks in here. Some accidents, happy accidents, right? So what to do with the negative space? You can write words. You can frame each one with ink. You could put tangles in there. So I'm thinking about just putting a little spiral in here. And into my spirals, I like to do a few dots. It's very simple. You could make it more elaborate. You could use a more complicated tangle. But I think, you know, for me, this is just background. And the real show are the colored windows. And maybe you're happy with just the windows with no embellishment with tangles. You just love the windows by themselves and you want to keep it that way in your sketchbook or wherever you keep it. So I'm just going to fill up these zones and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've made some little spiral designs, little tangles in between so you can see. And let's just keep going. So I've got my Krylon gold leafing pen. So I can add some really neat little details here. So I'm just going to test it on the side here. And where I've got some colors that are by themselves. I can do little details like this. Give them a little excitement. Jazz it up. These ones here are pretty solid as well. So I could do, a few dashes here with this pen. It has a chisel tip. Just to sort of give it a little focus. You see that a little bit. Almost looks like stitching. Maybe some circles here. I don't really do circles very well because it has a square tip, but we do our best. Oh, that's better. And with some square shapes. Consider this like little windows of practice. Okay, I'll do some circles again. My Krylon gold leafing pen. And see how beautiful that is. Just picks it up a little bit. A little over here, maybe some squiggly lines. It has a fat nib, as you can, sorry, a fat nib. Oh my goodness, a fat nib. And but if you use it on the very corner, you can get some fairly thin lines here. Oh dear. Talking. Yeah. Maybe some triangle shapes. Let's see that at the top here. A little partial one there. So that jazzes those up a little bit. And what I can do as well for these little spirals, I go in and in their centers, I can give them a little bit of gold. So I have to get some ink out here. Hang on a second, it'll work out. So you have to just pump it every now and again and get some more ink flowing. There we go. But just have fun, wild abandon, get out some toys, some of your supplies, maybe a supply that you've never used before or one that you haven't used in a long time. And start adding things, little details here and there. You don't have to do everyone, but I am. I'll just pause it for a sec. So I've added the gold leafing pen to the little spirals. You can see that. And that sort of brings harmony it makes it more cohesive. You do them all, and so you've got a little accent everywhere. Now, I've been thinking a lot this week. There's been a lot of conflict within North America and into Mexico. A lot of rhetoric, a lot of high feelings, and I've lived in both the United States and Canada, and I am a Canadian, but it is very difficult for me to watch this because I have so many people in both countries that I love dearly, and some are suffering, and that is hard to look at. It's hard to see. So I started to think about what are the words that have endured all time, and what are those words? What has endured all that humanity has thrown at it? You know, we've done a lot of horrible things to each other, but these words have endured, and now they're getting beaten up for whatever reason. But I thought, okay, let's bring them back out again. So I'm going to do it in just sort of messy writing here and there on here in my white spaces. And I don't have to get precious about it. So I've got love, peace, tolerance, understanding, empathy, hope, respect, kindness, bravery, harmony, unity, freedom, friendship, family, choice, acceptance, patience, togetherness. So what are your words? What are your words that help you navigate the world? What's important to you at this time? What do you want your world to look like? It's a good time to think about that, and to think about all that you love and hold dear on the planet. So I'm just going to do one more segment here. I'm going to pause it for a second, come back and show you the completed piece. So what I did here is I turned my paper and I wrote the same words going the other way. So it almost looks like a map. It could be a map of life or a map of reflection. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, I'm going to take the tape off and we can see what we've got. All right. Get this out. This is as it gets here. I'm gonna try to push this up a little bit so you can get the whole thing in, hopefully. Just turn it down a little bit. Almost in. Almost all of it. And now you can see how beautiful that is. This map of life, this map of kindness, this map of gratitude, this map of reflection. I hope that it brings you peace and harmony and that you enjoyed this lesson. Love to all. Take care.